Thank you for being here today. Do we have sound? Thank you for being here today. This is our first fall concert in this beautiful theatre space in 3 years, and we are just thrilled to be back. For this first set, Vocal Accord, which is our extracurricular chamber choir, is performing music by English composers. The first, the Orlando Gibbons Drop, Drop, Slow Tears from, I guess in music history terms, a very long, long, long time ago, as far as the students are concerned. But a piece that speaks to, I think, redemption and hope. And certainly one of Gibbons's claims to fame was being the organist at Westminster Abbey. He was in that position until his untimely young death, but he had held that position for several years. We're now going to perform a piece called Distant Earth Renewal. This is a New Jersey premiere performance, and a couple of weeks ago, 12 of the ensemble performed with the international vocal ensemble Voces 8 to give the live world premiere performance of it at Merkin Hall in New York City. And that was just thrilling. Voces 8 are, of course, part of our immersive residency program. More about that later. In any case, we are pleased to present Emma DiLauro and Mitchell Hernandez as our soloists, and our friends Jacob and Randy and Julian are joining us with the instruments. This piece was composed by Paul Smith, who is one of the two brothers that founded Voces 8. It was a little pandemic project for him. He was just thinking a lot about renewal and rebirth, and this is what came from it. It's a really beautiful, quite simple piece, and yet it's got these little inner workings and complexities that are quite deceptive. In any case, this is our humble offering, and we hope you enjoy. hardest thing is getting them on and off stage, and you say, you can leave, and they all just go. So I'm just going to cover this little transition. Thank you. Vocal accord was just purely self-selected. These were students who just had the time in their schedules and said that they would like to try something different. And it was just lovely to have this balance of voices, and we rehearse in the round once a week. A couple of weeks ago, Voce 8, end of next week, in 2 weeks' time, Rhiannon Gibbons will perform her Cry No More in the Leschwitz, as well as other repertoire that we're looking at. We're now going to move to a solo selection, and it is an absolute thrill to welcome back Amanda Sims, soprano, who graduated from here in May 2019. She was my graduate assistant in what we call the last year of the before times. Amanda is doing beautiful, beautiful work, and starting last year as we looked at how we would rebuild and try to introduce our students to the amazing legacy that had happened before them, because the freshmen are coming in and the people above them don't know, and you know, I've only really got seniors who had 1 semester of normal. So I've been trying to think of ways that we could really engage with our alumni and others who can help energize them and give them experiences that they will find useful as they're working toward the goals that they need to have as educators, therapists, performers, and so forth. So last year we were at Merkin, and we had Jason Zacher as our baritone soloist, and this year I'm thrilled to bring Amanda back. And she has chosen her repertoire, and if you are looking to follow the program notes and the texts, you'll need to just zap the QR code discreetly on the front of your program. But otherwise, I promise you'll be able to understand every word. It's great. Following that, we will then move back to the University Singers. I will introduce what they're doing at that point. And then there will be an intermission today, and we encourage you to stretch your legs, go into the lobby, meet some new friends, and then come back for what is honestly the pièce de résistance of our fall program at the moment. But you've got to wait. More about that later. So without any further ado, would you please give a very warm welcome to Amanda Sims and our collaborative artist, Stephen Ryan. Thank you.
But
Thank you. Thank you very much. I had some notes written out, but they're in my folder, which is somewhere, and I can't find it, so I'm just going to make it up as I go. In any case, we're going from Julius Caesar to Messiah, which has the common thread of the same composer, and some of you are wondering, why is she always working on Handel? And that's simply for the reason that we are honored to be the primary or the principal choral collaborators with the New Jersey Symphony, and after a hiatus of several years, as you know, we are back with them performing the full Messiah in 2 performances this December as part of their centennial season, which is just thrilling. In a normal year, I would have 2/3 of the choir, if not 3/4, already familiar with the music, and we just need to bring the new members along. As it turns out this year, there's only about 4 or 5 students who actually know the music. Everybody else is more or less starting from scratch. So I'm having to very cleverly weave that preparation through the narrative of what we're doing this fall semester. So today you're going to get something a little bleak, and I apologize for that, but it needs to be sung nonetheless. And with your permission, we'd like to perform it as we would in the actual performance. So we're going to the second part. So you know the first part is about good. It's a new formation. Do you like it? The first part is what we call the Christmas portion, and it's about the birth and the promise. The second section is really about his suffering, his life and his suffering, and his crucifixion. So we're going to perform 4 movements with an accompagnato, which Justin McBurney, one of our graduate tenors, is going to perform. And we're going to sing them sort of in the attacco formation that is prescribed in the score. This year the conductor will be the New Jersey Symphony principal conductor, Shen Zhang, and our performances will be in Richardson Auditorium in Princeton and in the Cathedral Basilica in Newark. And for those of you who do love to come and celebrate the season with this music, there's usually a discount code for the Newark performance. So keep an eye out on social media if you're not already following the Cali School and choral activities. We encourage you to do that, and we'll be sure to let you know. It's usually MSU Sing. In any case, that's our end game, and this is where we are today. These students, this is an elective choir, so these students all audition to be in the choir. If you are a non-music major, would you just raise your hand so people can see who you are? So these are folks with majors other than music. All of the others are either music majors or musical theatre majors. We have some musical theatre majors as well, which we love as well. We have freshmen, raise your hands. Sophomores, juniors, seniors, super seniors, and grad students. Yes. So it's a group that embraces throughout any student in good standing in the university who's hardcore can come to sing in the group, and it's just always a joy and a pleasure to make music with these young artists. So without any further ado, shall we do this? Yeah, this is our first time actually doing this. We haven't even dress rehearsed it. It's like, today's the day, so wish me luck. Do you guys want to tune before or after I speak? Yeah? You're good? You're good? Thank you very much. It is our absolute pleasure and honor to welcome to the stage now the composer of Weather, Dr. Rollo Dilworth. He has flown in from Seattle on the red eye, and he is here to speak. I invited him to give you his perspective on this piece, in addition to the program notes in your program, which I'm sure many of you have already read. I thought it would be good for you to hear from him precisely why he made the artistic choices he did. And in doing so, there are certain things you'll be able to listen for and be ready to participate in. Performing music with a message is an important part of our agenda in the McCauley School, and this is a social justice piece that deserves to be heard by many. It is participatory, as you're about to hear, and at the conclusion of today's concert, we are hosting, our student ACDA chapter is hosting a Q&A with Dr. Dilworth. So any of you who have the time, we encourage you to stay behind. All of our student performers will be sitting in the house as well, and there will be an opportunity for you to dig a little deeper in what it is that you have experienced today. So without any further ado, would you please give a very warm Montclair State McCauley School of Music welcome to Dr. Rollo Dilworth.
Thank you. Good evening, good afternoon, I should say, and many thanks to Doctors Heather Buchanan and Thomas McCauley for programming this piece and making Weather a part of your curriculum for this particular academic year. My thanks to Director Anthony Mazzocchi for his leadership, and to Dr. Marissa Silverman for the wonderful and insightful program notes that you have in front of you today. I also want to thank you, the students, for your commitment to artistic excellence and for your willingness to use this piece as a focal point for exploring the intersections of artistry and citizenship. I am truly honored and humbled by the opportunity to collaborate with poet, author, and Yale professor Claudia Rankine, who I actually have not met yet. Her powerful words have inspired me, as I hope they will inspire all of us to do our part in disordering the disorder. That is to say, using whatever influences and power that we have to improve our communities. There are themes in this poem that all of us can relate to, whether it is the culturally specific theme of resistance against acts of racism and discrimination, or the more humanly universal theme of perseverance under the pressures of a pandemic. Therefore, I firmly believe this is a story for all to tell, for all to hear, and for all to learn from. It is an opportunity for all of us to become the better versions of ourselves. As I analyzed Rankine's poem and attempted to organize its messages into a musical structure, I found myself dividing it into 6 segments. The first section that you'll hear is subtitled The Meditation, and it opens with a musical theme that you will hear in part or in full throughout the piece. It's actually an African-American spiritual entitled Stand the Storm. So you hear this, stand the storm, it won't be long, we'll anchor by and by. Stand the storm, it won't be long, we'll anchor by and by. The first portion of the second section, which I subtitled The Marginalization, is actually set in a 12-bar blues to reflect the range of emotions one might experience from the uncertainties of a pandemic, or perhaps from the pain caused by discrimination. You will hear specific references to the murder of George Floyd, such as the phrases 8 minutes and 46 seconds and I can't breathe. The next section, subtitled Memorial, recognizes just a small number of lives who were cut short as a result of racial discrimination, excessive force, implicit bias, and vigilante racial profiling. In this segment, you, the audience, will be given the invitation to respond as these names are read by our speakers. And I strongly encourage you to, if you feel moved to do so, to respond and participate in that way. Section 4, which I entitled The Meltdown, depicts a scene of civil unrest in which frustrations run high and confidence levels for systemic change run low. Section 5 simulates a march for social justice as the choir sings the words, "Whatever contracts keep us social compel us now to disorder the disorder." You, the audience, once again, are invited to participate by gently tapping your feet to participate in the march. You can take your cues from the choir and the wind ensemble players. The final section, which I subtitled The Mobilization, is an invitation to all of us to take part in creating a more just society. I've set the last lines of the poem in what I hope would be considered an inspirational 6/4 gospel style. The poet provides prescriptions for peace, perseverance, and persistence in the pursuit of justice and equality in our communities. Composing Weather has been a meaningful journey for me, and I hope the study of this piece has been a positive experience for my colleagues here and for you, the students. I sincerely hope that all who have participated, and hopefully those of you who are about to participate, in this experience will develop a deeper understanding of the themes presented in the poem and in the music, and will process how these themes are relevant to your lives moving forward. Thank you again for this opportunity. I'm very humbled, and without further ado, we will have this afternoon's presentation of Weather. And I just want to sort of parenthetically say that this is the 6th ensemble to perform this piece over the past year since it premiered back in October, and tonight or this afternoon will mark performance number 9. So thank you again for being a part of what I hope will be a lengthy run of Weather. Thank you.
On a scrap of paper in the archive is written, "I have forgotten my umbrella." Turns out, in a pandemic, everyone, not just the philosopher, is without. We scramble in the drought of information, held back by inside traders. Drop by drop. Face covering? No. Yes. Social distancing? 6 feet under for underlying conditions. Black. Just us and the blues kneeling on a neck with the full weight of a man in blue. 8 minutes and 46 seconds. In extremis, I can't breathe gives way to asphyxiation, to giving up this world. And then Mama called to, a call to protest, fire, glass, say their names, say their names. White silence equals violence. The violence of, again, a militarized police force tear gassing, bullets ricochet, and civil unrest taking it, burning it down. Whatever contracts keep us social, compel us now to disorder the disorder. Peace. We're out to repair the future. There's an umbrella by the door, not for yesterday, but for the weather that's here. I say weather, but I mean a form of governing that deals out death and names it living. I say weather, but I mean a November that won't be held off. This time, nothing, no one forgotten. We are here for the storm that's storming, because what's taken matters.
Juliana Taylor.
Amadou Diallo.
Sean Bell.
Oscar Grant.
Ayana Stanley Jones.
Trayvon Martin.
Fred Bradford Jr.
Eric Garner.
Michael Brown.
Laquan McDonald.
Tamir Rice.
Janisha Fonville.
Freddie Gray.
Sandra Bland.
India Kagger.
Alton Sterling.
Philando Castile.
Alteria Woods.
Geraldine Townsend.
DeCynthia Clements.
Stefan Clark.
Botham Jean.
LaJuana Phillips.
Latasha Nicole Walton.
Crystal Ragland.
Elijah McLean.
Tatiana Jefferson.
Ahmad Arbery.
Dante Wright.
Micaiah Bryant.
Donovan Lewis.
White silence equals violence. The violence of a gang. A militarized police force. Tear gassing. Bullets ricochet. Bullets ricochet. And civil unrest. Drinking is
So, Christine, we have a microphone. So, Dr. Dilworth, Dr. McCauley, we've got chairs out here. You get to sit in the middle. You're the guest of honor. Yeah. We've got 2 microphones. If you and another student would like to be on those, pass them up. Just hold on to them, and then if someone has a question, so you just pass them to the mic, the mic to them. Sorry. Yeah. And Jeff, might we get a little bit more house light? Just a teeny bit more. Just makes it easier for us. Right. So I'm going to hand over to you. First thoughts. What's it like hearing this piece over and over again, and obviously different people with the privilege of bringing the music to life, but how is it for you hearing this piece many times?
Well, it's like an out-of-body experience every single time, because I don't always remember writing a piece of music, not the details of it. I go into a zone and I really try very hard to allow the words to tell me what I'm supposed to do with them. And so when those words come back to me in musical form under the direction of choral directors and instrumental conductors, it just blows my mind, because my sole purpose with any piece of music, but particularly with this one, is to amplify the words of the composer in the hopes that the message will continue to resonate in our hearts, not just in terms of, in a literary sense, but at a human level, that music sort of allows us to sort of, transcend and sort of go to places, and it creates opportunities for transformation in ways that I think go beyond just the written word. So it's been an awesome pleasure to hear this ensemble, collection of ensembles. It was just fantastic, and I just wanted to commend the 2 of you for your amazing work, your amazing teaching skills, interpretation skills, and certainly your ability to inspire the ensemble to do their very best, whether the composer's present or not, to be an advocate for the composer, in the words of Eric Leinsdorf. So thank you so much.
Questions from audience or from performers, and we have our microphones here. So is this Nate's dad? Oh, well, we're recording it. So, Deanna, would you mind? I think that's Nate's dad, right? Did I just embarrass you, Nate? No, your dad's here. That's awesome.
His mom couldn't be here, unfortunately. She's going into the city tonight. But anyway, I was very surprised that you said you had not met the author of the poem. So my question is, was this a collaborative piece with her to begin with, or did this poem strike something in you when you read it and you said, I'm going to put music to that?
Oh, well, thank you for that question. Yes, it was an interesting opportunity for me, because the College of New Jersey came to me in the late summer, early fall of 2020, shortly after this poem had hit the New York Times, which I think was in June of 2020. And the directors there, one of the music education professors, with the choral director and the band conductor, they asked me to consider setting this poem to music, knowing that I had not asked Claudia Rankine or had any encounters with her. And I had to read the poem for several weeks, just so that I could digest it, in order to figure out if the words were really speaking to me, not just as a human being, as an African American man, but also as a composer. So once I consented, they actually did the legwork and contacted her agent and her personal assistant and secured permission. So Claudia Rankine is really big time, and I didn't really have any expectations for being able to personally interface with her. I just felt that if she was willing to entrust me with her very precious 28 lines, that I would do my best to lift them up to audiences that would come to hear the music, the marriage between the music and the words. So thank you for that question. I do, I really do. Temple University did this piece back in April, and we contacted the agent, and Professor Rankine's appearance fees were beyond our budget. And I don't want to be creepy and stalk her at Yale, but I don't know what else to do at this point. So I'm going to figure out how to make that happen.
I also thought about trying to get it here, but it was too much for us.
Yeah. It's another league,
another
right?
level.
It's
Yeah.
yes, it's another level. So thank you for that question.
Okay, another question? Nick. So if you can just introduce yourself so people know who.
Hey, so nice to meet you, Dr. Dilworth. My name's Nick Scafuto. I'm a tenor in the choir. My question had to do with so there's a part of the music, the clock part, right?
Yes.
Where the measures are 8/8/4/4/6/4, I believe.
Yes.
And I just wanted to ask if you could speak on like that is something that we as the performers get to experience, that level of symbolism, but it might not be as clear to an audience member. So I would just love to hear, your thoughts on that.
Sure. And so I knew I love numbers. I guess we all to some extent live by them, but numbers have always sort of elicited an emotional response with me ever since I was a little kid. And so I grew up loving mathematics and loving music theory and, as it goes. So I wanted to find very interesting ways to use numeric symbolism to influence the architecture and the structure of the piece, but also on sort of an artistic and emotional level, use particularly the metric shifts from 8 to 4 to 6 as a way, even if the audience, I'm very realistic. There were probably very few people in the audience saying, "Oh my gosh, did you hear that 8/8/6/4?" I'm one of the nerds that probably would have, been saying that to somebody next to me, whether they wanted to hear it or not. But what I enjoy about that part of my work is, even if the audience isn't aware of that, on a theoretical level, emotionally, I hope through sort of the tonality and the turbulence created, that people were able to figure out, okay, something is a little bit off here, right? So that was really my purpose in that. And 8/4/6 really is a numeric sequence that actually dictated the overall arc of the piece in terms of the key structure from the very beginning to the end. Stand the Storm, the spiritual that you heard at the very beginning, only happens in its entirety 3 times. At the very beginning of the piece in E flat major, it happens in its entirety in the middle of the piece during the memorial in A flat major, and it comes back in the upper winds at the very end in C major. And so if you think of E flat major as being Roman numeral 1, or let's say 8, then the modulation from E flat to A flat is 4, and then from E flat at the beginning to C at the end is a 6th. And so 8/4/6 actually marks the arc of the entire piece. Yeah. So at the macro level and then at the micro level. Yeah. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Marla. I am in the soprano section. I'm a grad student studying music therapy. So my question is, I know this song is about obviously a very serious, very important topic. I know that some of the parts of the song, though, sorry, I'm bad at speaking, are more upbeat. Mm-hmm. What inspired you to, I guess, put an upbeat sound to like a serious topic?
Okay,
I guess.
Sure, yeah. I thought long and hard about Rankine's words, and I thought about how best to bring certain sections of the text to life in sort of a very visceral way. And the blues, for example, people have actually asked me, well, why would you do a blues? And I think many people think of, nightclubs, swinging, rocking, jamming, having a good time blues. What I wanted to do was educate our audiences and our artists about this notion that the blues wasn't always happy and upbeat and I love my man or my woman is with me and all those kinds of things. There were also moments in which the blues were used. The blues really is a secular form of the African American spiritual. It is the secular folk tradition that began to evolve post-emancipation as blacks from the rural South began to migrate to the North and to other places. And they used the blues as not only a form of lamenting the discrimination and the economic situation that they were in post-emancipation, but the blues were also one of the few opportunities where African Americans could make a living and make a decent living because people wanted that kind of entertainment. So there's an interesting sort of juxtaposition there. What's also important to know is that just as the African American spiritual, as the spirituals were the early protest songs, so were the blues. There was much coded language in a lot of blues numbers that compositions that were written that were actually in protest to the conditions that blacks were in because of discrimination and slavery, of course, that came before it. For example, Leadbelly. Many of you have heard about Leadbelly, great blues musician. Well, if you get a chance when you go home, look up and YouTube the Jim Crow Blues. That is a piece written by Leadbelly, and he wrote that piece as a protest song to speak out against the Jim Crow segregation laws. So the blues were not just an art form for, hey, let's groove and get down tonight and have a good time. They were also, that genre was used as literally the early megaphone for blacks who wanted to also protest the discrimination that they were facing. And so that's why the blues is there. And then at the end, I chose a sort of a slow groove gospel, which this man just rocked like nobody's business. Just amazing. I almost shouted because I thought I was in church. And so Rankin leaves us with a bit of optimism. And she provides, at least in my interpretation, a prescription for all of us in terms of what we can do, not just people of color, not just people who face discrimination and marginalization on a regular basis, but what can all of us do in order to make our societies better. And so I wanted to end the piece with a little bit of optimism and hope, because I think that she's giving us that signal in her very poignant and passionate words. So thank you. Thank you.
Good question.
Yeah. Great question.
Hello, my name's Allie. I'm a friend of the people in the choir. And my question, you kind of started to talk about in the last question about the blues, but what was kind of the process of marrying like the spiritual sound and the blues sound and like the jazzy kind of sound with classic choral and orchestra sound, I guess is my question.
Yeah, well, that was actually an exciting process for me, because for so many years in my career, I've been asked to, do arrangements of African American spirituals or write gospel style pieces, and I'm very fortunate in that a lot of people have asked me to write, closers or sort of those upbeat kinds of pieces, but I'm more than that on many different levels. I was classically trained and gospel trained all at the same time. And I was taught to value all different kinds of music. And I used to play, as a kid, Beethoven sonatas and Chopin Polonaise, all those things. But alongside that, I would improvise and play, Andre Crouch and all sorts of gospel music. And so this piece is really sort of a representation of kind of the totality of who I am as a composer. I have always admired classical musicians. I've loved the music of J.S. Bach since the day I could, play my first little two-part invention. And I found myself particularly in the whatever contracts keep us social. When I was sketching out the overall arc of the piece, I thought to myself, here's a moment to take these words and to create counterpoint in a way that would illustrate this idea of people coming from different perspectives, all with the same purpose and mindset and mission to figure out how we can disorder the disorder. And so part of the counterpoint is supposed to sort of symbolize disorder, and then of course it all comes together into something a homophonic statement when we get to the piece, and we go on from there. So I've always enjoyed different styles of music: classical music, blues, jazz, gospel, and this piece seemed to be an opportunity to sort of create some of those mood shifts and to remind myself of the transpositions for alto and tenor sax and all that kind of stuff. And it was lots of fun. I've not written for wind ensemble professionally before. The last piece I wrote for wind ensemble was my orchestration class at Case Western Reserve University in my junior year, which was 1990. And so when I got this opportunity to do it, I just thought, I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to do this. And so now I've gotten the bug. I think I want to write more band music, so we'll see. I don't know if I'll ever write like a Godzilla Eats Las Vegas kind of thing. My buddy Eric Whitaker probably has that all figured out. But who knows? Maybe I'll do some more. Yeah, so thanks for that.
Alyssa. Can you grab Alyssa? Deanna's on the case.
Hello.
Hello.
My name's Alyssa. I'm a music education major, but I'm also a gender, sexuality, and women's studies minor. Okay. And when you came on stage and you had your speech, you mentioned intersection between classification and...
Oh, the intersection of artistry and citizenship.
Yes.
Yes.
So in my minor, we talk a lot about intersectionality.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So Kimberly Crenshaw and her whole definition of it.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
I was just wondering, I just want to hear your take on intersectionality, because I feel like it's not something that's super well known, that should be well known.
Oh, sure.
And I just wanted to hear your take between intersectionality between just coming from a musician and an activist when it comes to this as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So in our understanding of intersectionality, it's this idea that we're all sort of multi-layered individuals, right? We relate to things on different levels because of the various identities that are a part of who we are, that we carry with us. And there are moments in which the combination or the intersection of multiple identities that allow us to have very unique perspectives as we move about the world. Okay, I'm African American, I'm male, so that's the intersection of those two position me in a way that may be much more unique than others who don't have that particular intersectionality as part of their identity. And so I think that for all of us as artists have to really think about not just who we are on that particular level, but how, for example, does gender, how does sexuality, how does our religious identity, how does our political identity, how do all of those things come together, sort of the nexus of those multiple identities, how do they all work together in creating who we are when we are tasked with interpreting or reinterpreting or creating or recreating an artifact that has to represent perhaps experiences that we may be able to connect to, or represent experiences that may be different from our own. And that's the opportunity for all of us to begin to expand our worldview, an opportunity for all of us to grow, and perhaps also, most importantly, an opportunity for us to examine more closely who we are and what our opinions are, what our values are, what our what our experiences have been up to this point that has put us in a position where now we're starting to ask ourselves even deeper questions about, who am I? Where am I in the world? What is my place in the world? What is my responsibility to my art in the world as an artist? What is my responsibility to the artists that I am performing for? And all of those kinds of questions. One of the reasons why I really wanted to take on this assignment after it was given to me is because everybody, I hope, can see themselves in this text. And oftentimes I've had students, some of my own students, who will say, well, when we get to this part in the piece, I have not experienced discrimination in the same way that Rankine is describing this. And some of us may never know that. And that's great if you never experience discrimination of any sort in your life. But I have to tell you, as a person who experiences it often, this is an opportunity for all of us, no matter where we are, through the art-making process, to step into somebody else's world and develop deeper skills when it comes to empathy and understanding for what somebody else may be experiencing and going through. My hope for every single person in this room, especially the artist, as I mentioned in my little speech earlier, is that we find opportunities to connect with that which is culturally specific in the music and in the text, and also find opportunities to connect with that which is humanly universal. Marginalization and discrimination may be specific to certain groups of people, depending upon their identity and the intersection of those multiple identities. But we were all under the pressures of a pandemic. And those pressures, for many of us, showed us more clearly who we really are, and also perhaps helped us to prioritize what's really important and what's not, right? And so those were messages that were also a part of that, of Rankine's poetry. Mm-hmm. So thank you for that.
Great questions.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to mention that Alyssa was one of the students who contributed to the names that we read. Initially, we had a list of names, and they were predominantly male. And some of us got to thinking, And then when I came and spoke to the Wind Symphony, Alyssa was right on it. And so in the end, we started just getting this list. And at first I was very concerned. I said to Tom, it's going to go longer. And he said, well, I don't mind. You decide.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I said, okay, I think it needs to be at least 32 names, because otherwise we're glossing over it. I mean, when you consider that every one of those names is a life lost.
Yep.
And the other day when we performed this for the high school students, I found myself getting quite emotional and struggling to kind of keep myself focused on my job at the super titles, because I was really getting lost in the thoughts about, especially Tatiana Jefferson and some of those younger girls. You know, that was difficult.
Yeah.
I think we probably have time for one more question. Is there somebody who there's oh wow, there's so many hands. So you're going to then progress to the lobby after this, and you're going to mob him.
Where's my security detail?
Where's his security detail? Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe two quick questions. Let's see. Can we go up here? I'm seeing. Fantastic. Can you run the microphone up super fast, please? And this is Julia Krempaski, formerly from Bridgewater Raritan High School.
Yes.
And Julia, you're on.
Dr. Buchanan already did the introduction for me. So my name is Julia Krempaski. I'm a soprano, and I am also an instrumentalist. So I was curious about your process and considerations when writing the instrumental part, because it felt, for me, like it truly clicked with the band. So I was wondering about your process, especially because you said it's been such a long time since you've done something like that. I just wanted to know sort of how your considerations and...
Yeah. So thanks for that question. And I hope before we get a chance to go, I really want to hear your perspectives on a few things. So hopefully we'll get a chance to... So, you know, orchestration is a very interesting thing. And so while I have not written, this is my first piece with, you know, wind ensemble and chorus, I have a number of pieces that are written for full orchestra and chorus. And so I'm always trying to be mindful of two very important things. One, the beauty of the amount of colors that can be created by instruments, particularly a wind ensemble, more so I think than strings in an orchestra. So I was enamored by that first and foremost. Then the second thing I had to think was, well, how am I going to write in such a way that both the wind ensemble and the chorus are equal partners and collaborators in this, which is why I gave some very important melodic material to not just the singers, but also to the players. And then the third thing I have to always think about, and I think I even put this in my performance notes, how do you write in such a way that even though there's an equal partnership between what's happening with these ensembles and with their leaders, how do you ensure that the wind ensemble will undergird but not overpower, right? And so for those of you who are playing upper winds, if you're in this room, particularly flute and oboe, I don't want you to think that I didn't like you. It's simply that I had to kind of keep you tamped down a little bit because I couldn't have you in your upper register a lot because I didn't want to overpower the words coming forward. And even with that accommodation, there were things that I put in the saxes and in the blues part. I knew I was in trouble letting that first trumpet go up to that high D. But I thought to myself, I can't help myself. It has to do that. It has to do that, you know. And so there were moments when I tried to let the wind ensemble cut loose, and just knowing that whoever was conducting was going to try to keep it all in the balance. And
we have microphones.
Yeah.
We worked out that we were using microphones.
Yeah. When we did the performance at Temple, we had about 85 singers, and we had to use we had to because that's just the nature of the beast, right? Yeah.
Okay, this gentleman here has raised his hand every time. So,
My name is Michael Miller, and I'm a member of the audience. The only question I have is it's fantastic what you did, the integration of the music and the poem, but I was curious about what has been the response of the audience. This is a piece that's supposed to, I feel it's moving forward to take the people to the next step, to vote in November, more or less.
Yeah, that's a very good point, and I have made it to all of the different institutions' performances except for one, and this is institution number 6. Did I say 6? And so the response has been fairly positive. I think that once the audience sort of gets the permission to participate and engage, they do. And I'm one of those people that I'm not necessarily here to tell people that, you know, that weather is supposed to be a political statement. I think that once people see that it's a social justice piece, they assume that it is, you know, a radical left-leaning, work. And the truth of the matter is, a fair and just society is not one that should only be the responsibility of people who vote blue or red or green or not at all. It's supposed to be an opportunity for all of us to do better, to treat people with dignity and respect, no matter what your political leanings are, no matter what your religious, ideological leanings are. And my hope in the audience participation in particular is for people to recognize that no matter what your background is, all of us are in this together, all of us. And so I know that there are people in the audience who have kind of shuddered when, you know, the pictures are up and the names are being read because they may feel like, well, I don't want to participate in anything that sounds political. But being fair and being just and being respectful and treating people like human beings and not like something less than that, when we discriminate against them, et cetera, that has nothing to do with political party. People have decided, yeah. I think there are those in our political landscape who have wanted to make this a partisan issue, but I can tell you, I have friends all over the political spectrum who understand what this is about, and they realize that it's not about, you know, who you go to vote for in those booths, although in some cases for me it is. There are people who separate, you know, mindset from, you know, stance on policy and that sort of thing. There are people who don't make that separation, but it is so important for us to understand that this is about all of us, and all of us can do something if we choose to do something. And if our political leanings and our religious convictions prevent us or perhaps make us feel as though we can't do something about it, then that's another discussion, right? Are you related to Debbie Mello? No. Okay. Who couldn't be here today? She texted me. Yeah. So I'll stop talking there.
I know that everybody has somewhere to be, but if there's any, if you have any burning questions or any other follow-up that you would really like to make, you're very welcome to email me at my Montclair email, which is buchanan@montclair.edu, and I'll be happy to collate those, and perhaps we can, you know, get some answers to some more questions for folks. Our outreach here has been substantial this weekend. We had 400 high school students, their teachers and chaperones on Friday, and their response to the memorial was fierce, to say the least. We had the band concert on Friday night, and then we had this concert today. I think that as artists, we have a responsibility to really use our art for good. And that is certainly part of our agenda here. And we just thank you all for being witness to this work, participating in it, and for continuing to support our endeavors, and especially those of your sons and daughters and the young people that you came here to support today. So on behalf of Tom and myself, thank you, Rollo, for honoring us. And a big thank you to Stevie Ryan, my collaborative partner, who really chewed up that piano. And just a big round of applause for the students who performed this work today. You were really incredible. Bravo. Thank you, everybody. Go well.